Oh, I think we're trending. Definitely trending in a better direction than maybe this time in camp last year. Tyron didn't practice today. Today was a lighter rep day, shorter field. But 2 days ago, defense got after us. Yesterday, it felt more even. And then today, it felt like we had more of the upper hand.
It's been floating around on social media today, the conversation between you and Garrett, the very passionate. Just kind of, what happened there from your assessment.
What do you say?
He blamed you.
He blamed me? I blame him.
He basically said it was just a conversation between two passionate people.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's often appearance versus reality in life and on the football field, and what it appears to be might not always be what the reality actually is, as far as whether or not we're upset with each other or just passionately talking about the details of a situation that might not have to do with either of us. So G and I got a great relationship. We spend time together off the field. On the field, there's a way of doing things that we both agree on, and when it doesn't look exactly how we want it to, sometimes there's some side conversations that happen. I love those conversations, though. I mean, it's about the details. It's about winning. It's about seeing what he sees. He's got to get on my page, but I got to get on his page too, because he's got a whole book that I need to understand fully of skill set and ability and feel and rhythm and all the different things that he does out there. So those are good conversations. They might appear to be much more heated than they are, but there's usually a smile on our face afterwards, at least one of us.
What does it say about him that he's hopping in and out this stage in his career to be so candid with you and have those honest exchanges or whatever, however they look?
Well, the best ones have always done that, and I enjoy those. I love a good back and forth, as long as at the end of it we can either agree to disagree and revisit it later, or come to some sort of middle ground there. Those are often during transitions in the day practice, so there's time for that. And then for the most part, we'll revisit those back in a meeting in the afternoon or at nighttime or a text message or a meeting in the morning. So it's never just one conversation.
We also saw like the last couple of days, like you were clearly frustrated with how things were not going throughout the course of practice. Just talk about your emotions there as well.
Oh, I think a lot of that gets overblown from time to time. There's a standard that I think we like to set, and there's an accountability that goes along with that. At practice, the standard is very, very high. I think a lot of that stuff is pretty benign in general, but I like to, push guys to believe themselves maybe more than they do at the time. But a guy like Joe Tippmann, he has the ability to play a long time in this league at center, and he's got a chance to be an All-Pro, I think. So if he's snapping the ball a little wayward from time to time, he can take it. He can take me jumping his ass a little bit and getting on him. Sometimes you need to do that. I think it's all about the energy. So, at practice, there's times where things fluctuate. You're up and down on the energy, and at certain points you kind of got to get on guys. I was ready for that today because you felt third day of pads that we were kind of going through the motions a little bit, and then sometimes it just takes one play. I felt like Five had a real good day. He had a couple routes that kind of were wow plays and kind of got everybody going offensively. And then we had a couple good runs and a couple nice ones to Breece to kind of settle us in. But sometimes, it takes me or Breece or Tyron or even Garrett getting on somebody to kind of get things going. You're next.
Where do you stand on playing in the preseason?
Yeah, I mean, that's Robert's decision. I've never told him I don't want to play in the preseason. There's a lot of thoughts about whether there's any particular gain from it. We used to play all the time. It wasn't even a question. We played, 10 to 15 the first one, and quarter and a half in the second one, and the third quarter in the third one, and then sometimes, Tennessee would always play their guys sometimes through the third quarter. We would play, maybe a series or two. Now nobody wants to play. They don't want to play their guys. It's different. To combat that, now we're doing all these practices with other teams. So we have 3 of those. I'm assuming those will be like our super heavy days, and then it'll be like the preseason for us. If he decides he wants me to play against the Giants, I'll strap it up and look forward to that.
Is just a quick follow there, is the decision different this time because of the injury?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't have any restrictions. I'm doing keepers, rollouts. So it was news to me yesterday when he said I wasn't going to play in the first 2. Eric sent me that. Thank you. But we hadn't even had a conversation yet about that. So I was, assuming I'd take a ton of reps in the inter squad when the other team comes in, whatever we call that. Those fun times. And then if he wants me to play, I'll play.
How do you? Sorry, Ken.
Just curious with the back and forth you have with the guys out there.
Which ones?
Just in terms of the last couple of days when there's been frustration when the offense has been to the standard. Is that something that you embrace, kind of being coach of the field to some degree, and has that increased as your years have gone by?
No, I think I'm a little more tempered than I was when I was a younger player. Fuse is a little bit longer. But there's certain guys, you can't coach everybody the same way. So certain guys you can get on them, certain guys you got to pull aside and talk to. Certain guys want to have it out on the field. Some guys will pull you aside in the locker room. It just depends on the guys, but you got to set a standard and hold guys accountable to that standard at practice and the way you want to see things run. And sometimes you got to infuse a little bit of energy to it, but everybody's different. Joe Tippmann, is a real easygoing guy who can take some hard coaching. If you watch Keith and the way he gets after those guys, Joe always responds well to that. He responds well to me. He still loves me. He hugs me before practice, so we're still on good terms. But the snap thing, it's something we've been working on. Just need to be a little more consistent with it.
Garrett's improbability, where he's able to kind of like improv there on the field, just find a way to get open with also the details.
Yeah, details are most important. The second part is the addition to it, but it needs to start with a full understanding of the offense, and then and all the details and the intricacies, and then adding the other little special sauce that he has. There's certain plays that's kind of built in where he has 2-and-1 routes and he has ability to adjust his release and his split. But this offense is about spacing, timing, and rhythm, and we need him first and foremost to get those little details down. But there's so many other things, like you see in the red zone. There's a lot of freedom for him to run his route based on whatever steps he feels like he's in the open, easiest. And you saw, he's dynamic in short area in the phone booth. But when we get those little tiny details hemmed up, we're gonna really be tough to stop.
When you mentioned that standard, how much of that is related to just the way you came in, especially with the Packers and kind of what they were doing at the time?
Yeah, the standard's always been the standard. I think you're trying to find a way to push guys to see their potential, to believe in themselves, to kind of bring them along. It's the same standard I hold myself to on the practice field of excellence, of detail, of preparation. Repeat mistakes are the most difficult and frustrating, I think. So those are the ones that really tick you off. But I have to hold those guys accountable and be another voice out there on the field, and let them know that the standard is the standard.
Aaron, you talked about pushing guys to believe in themselves more than maybe they do right now. Was there somebody who's done that for you along the way in your career?
There's people that set the standard. I got to play behind Brett, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I got to see what the standard of excellence looked like every single day. There was never a drop off in his energy, his enthusiasm, the way he practiced, the way he came, and even on days where now I know what he probably felt like at times, where you're in the third day in a row of pads and you're a little bit tired and body's aching. You just had some squats the day before and you're trying to get the body moving and going, but you still got to bring it. But I had some great coaches along the way too, starting in high school and junior college and at Cal with Coach Tedford, and as a young player with Tom Clements and Mike McCarthy and Joe Philbin. those guys always kind of held me to a standard. When I was the scout team guy, would pull me aside and have conversations with me about the future and about leadership and about body language and a lot of different things that helped me along the way.
What's your level of respect for CJ Mosley and what he does on the other side of the ball?
Yeah, I love CJ. I mean, I think he's a pro's pro. He goes about it the right way. He doesn't say a whole lot. When he does, everybody kind of perks up. I think I've said it before, but he reminds me of Julius Peppers, and Julius going to the Hall of Fame. But Julius kind of led by example, and it was just the standard that he set every single day of excellence and working and preparation and play style. The play style is always the same with CJ. He's tough, he's physical, he's athletic, he's smart, and then he just has that lead by example that you really appreciate. You know what you're gonna get. There's no surprises. He's gonna be the same guy every day. He's gonna be lead by example. He does all the little things, the game within the game stuff that are so important. Being a good teammate, being on time, being prepared. So I love playing with him, and I enjoy the challenge of playing against him.
Couple more. When you were in Tahoe a few weeks ago, somebody asked you a question and you said something about Devontae, where you look forward to playing with him again. I think was the comment. That set off a lot of speculation. Just what were you saying there?
Well, I do love Devontae for sure. That particular guy was a tad bit irritating, I would say. It was one of those things where it's like when you just like somebody's in you, like asking the same question over and over and over, and I just was trying to just give him something and get rid of him. Yeah, but I think I was talking about golf.
Playing golf with Devontae
Yeah.
How beneficial has it been working with Breece from day one? Because last year, obviously, coming off injury.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about Breece. I think if you look at our team, we have 4 third-year players who are impact players for us, especially. Now I've talked about Breece a lot, Garrett a lot, Sauce a lot, and mentioned Jermaine obviously, but Breece, as much as any of them, has really settled into being a professional and owning the details. He's a very smart player. I literally just tease him in the weight room about being a 3-down player, because when I came in last year, that really wasn't the scouting report on him that I was given. He's a physical runner. He's faster than maybe he looks like he's running. I mentioned the comparison to Amon Green, where Amon was a fast guy. It never looked like he was going so fast because he was so efficient. But Breece is now a legitimate 3-down back, which I think is as big a compliment as you can give a running back, especially as much as running backs have been disrespected in the past few years by contracts and workload and the other perception. I think once you get to late 20s or 30, you're kind of put out to pasture. What he's shown talent-wise out of the backfield is pretty impressive. And if you look at some of the plays we ran today, it says a lot when your bell cow running back is number one in the progression in on red zone routes. So a lot of credit goes to him. I'm more impressed by playing the walkthrough 2 nights ago where we're running a brand new play that got installed, and I make a check and he immediately tells the right tackle like the coaching point without, it was like check, boom. I kind of gave him a look like, man, that was sweet, like just the intelligence level and the instincts, very impressive. His skill set speaks for himself, but the mental preparation is obviously matching the physical ability, which is when you can start to take off.